Welcome. Okay, Ms. Heiss, whenever you're ready.
Thank you, Your Honor. I visited with the child by Zoom. He's placed in another county, and I was able to see that he has a caregiver home 24 hours a day for his care, and he's meeting his milestones. There are some developmental interesting things coming along, but they're waiting for early on, and the doctors and all these OTs that he sees regularly to tell us whether it's connected to his early birth and drug-dependent birth. There's a couple of requests that I have for the court today. There is a letter that's recently here available for you to see that the doctors are requesting that he receive his immunizations. Mother did agree to flu and RSVP immunizations, but she did not agree to the COVID. So we would ask that you give the foster parents permission to authorize medical consent. There's also a My Chart function that the placement needs to have access to. He's seeing pulmonologists and all kinds of folks. This child was in the hospital and he was placed in, and he's 6 months old right now, tiny. Remember that he's 7 weeks when you adjust his age. So although he's been here 6 months, we adjusted by seven weeks. He was in the hospital and he was put into a coma so that they could intubate him. He was so sick. Mom called the hospital a couple of times to check on his health and called placement a couple of times, but she really was not involved in the medical care. Even the hospital tried to contact mom for direction, but at some point they allowed a foster parent to approve the treatment therapy. So I would ask you to consider authorizing foster parents for medical consent and also for the My Chart access. The child, because of his developmental, medical health issues, it was decided by the foster family that instead of 2 working parents in the child in daycare, the mother figure, foster mother, would stay home with the child. And I think that's a really heroic decision to make for a child, and it's great to see the level of commitment. So I have received and reviewed the court report, and I would recommend continuing placement. We are at the 6-month mark basically, and I do agree that mother has had prior children in care, so she knows what it is that we're asking for. And I think a short term of case services, considering mom is not doing the case services, and whether she's heard it from anybody else or not, whether she's read the court report or not, she is not succeeding in case services in all the different categories that were evaluated by Ms. Burgess. So that concludes my report.
All right, Ms. Thomas.
Thank you, Your Honor. Ask that Ms. Johnson be sworn in.
Ms. Johnson? Yes, she's available to us online, Deputy Ames. I have invited her to use her video, but I don't think that worked out.
Ms. Johnson, can you hear me? Ms. Johnson, are you able to hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. I can see you guys.
All right, thank you. Can you raise your right hand, please? Let me know when it's raised.
Yeah, my hand is raised.
Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
Thank you. Ms. Johnson, just to ensure that we have accurate testimony, are you under the influence of any substances that may impair your ability to testify today?
No, not at all.
Did you have the
Okay,
opportunity?
hang on one second. Ms. Thomas, your volume level is kind of low today. So I don't know if you want to play with that, because I've got you kind of low and then Ms. Johnson's pretty high. So it's from our viewpoint here. If you could tweak that, I would appreciate it.
Did that work?
Try it one more time.
Is this any better?
It's pretty low. Good morning, Ms. Berger. Sorry to keep you in the waiting room for a few minutes. Are you here for Joshua Coleman?
I am. I did get the DNA results stating that he's not father, but I didn't know that it had been released yet or not, so I figured I better connect.
I think that's probably the piece that we're potentially going to be hearing about in a little bit, but Ms. Thomas, did you want to take a pause on Ms. Johnson's testimony to address that?
One moment, Your Honor.
Well, in the meantime, Ms. Heiss, did you receive a copy of the DNA test results?
I did, Your Honor, and I agree that it shows 0% probability of paternity.
All right, Ms. Dumont, same question.
Your Honor, I did not receive them. I only received the public defender's office has given me, which is the most recent court report and initial petition.
Thank you. Did that come in? Did those DNA test results come in a little bit later than our usual court report? Ms. Heiss?
Yes, I think it was between review periods. Let me look.
I'm not seeing it in
Sooner
my file.
than- I think it was sooner than this recent court report, kind of in the middle.
Things get ugly when DNA results completely eliminate Joshua Coleman as the father. The judge immediately shifts focus toward identifying another possible parent.
All right, well, Ms. Johnson, what that means is it doesn't look like Mr. Joshua Coleman is the father of the child. Is there anyone else that we could explore for legal parentage for this child that you're aware of?
Obviously, there is has to be another possibility. Yeah, the name Ed Edwards, possibly, but I mean, I don't think it's going to be a big deal for him to either be a part of his life. So I don't think it very necessary to, proceed any further with that. I don't know how it works with what the process is for you guys, but
Well, do you happen to know, or have you seen Mr. Edwards anytime recently that they could, because they'll have an obligation to follow up with him. So is there any information you can give us to help with that?
no, honestly, there wasn't. Obviously, it was a stupid decision. And I was, sleeping around. I don't have contact with him like that. We weren't really close or anything.
Do you have any older information for him?
No, I don't. I went through a couple phones since then. I apologize.
Well, that's okay. We just have to make sure that we've got everything we can find. Is he an Adrian resident, do you know, or is he from out of town?
Yeah, he's from out of town.
Do you know where he was last found?
Yes, in Ohio was the last thing I knew. Him and his family moved out that way. Like I said, I haven't heard anything in at least 6 months or more.
Okay. Okay, I imagine Ms. Burgess is probably going to be reaching out to you with any additional questions on that?
Yes.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Johnson. All right, Ms. Thomas, back to you. Oh, you're muted.
Your Honor, is this volume better?
Yes, thank you.
Thank you. It was in the wrong setting there. Okay. Ms. Johnson, did you have the opportunity to review the court report that Ms. Burgess provided for today's hearing?
Yes, I did.
Is there anything in that court report that is not accurate based on your experience?
Everything was pretty much accurate.
All right,
Do you have an
Ms.
explanation?
Thomas? Hang on one second, Ms. Thomas, because I have a feeling Ms. Berger is going to want to jet out of here if she's not needed on Mr. Coleman. So everyone seems to have received the DNA results, although I would appreciate it if you could forward those on to me. Again, it looks like they didn't make it into my file. And then if we could address how you might like to move forward with that, please.
Yes, Your Honor. I can send that to you. Trying to find the email that Ms. Burgess sent me. I believe I received it late July. But at this time, if Mr. Coleman is not the biological father, I do not see a reason to continue with Ms. Berger being present on his behalf.
Ms. Berger, is that your position, or do you feel differently?
I do not feel differently, Your Honor. I would ask that my appointment end.
Ms. Johnson, were you married ever to Mr. Joshua Coleman?
No, I wasn't.
Okay, thank you. I just want to make sure. All right, any objection to Ms. Berger being released? Or to the findings that Joshua Coleman is not in fact the legal or biological parent of this child?
No objection.
No objection.
All right, thank you for your time and service, Ms. Berger. The order will reflect that Joshua Coleman has been found to have no link with this child and that your services, although appreciated, are no longer needed.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you for letting me interrupt you, Ms. Thomas. You're welcome to continue with any questions for Ms. Johnson.
Thank you. Ms. Jensen, do you have an explanation as to why you have not been in contact with Ms. Burgess?
I know I was not in contact for a little over a month. I was working and it was the wrong decision. I do want to be a part of my kid's life. I know you have already given me a chance. And I know what I need to do. Yeah. And
Even after multiple chances, the mother still cannot show meaningful stability, and everybody in court clearly recognizes the pattern repeating again.
Are you still with us, Ms. Johnson?
yes, I am. Can you hear me?
Yes, thank you. I just want to make sure we didn't miss any of your testimony.
No, you didn't.
Ms. Johnson, do you currently have any warrants out for your arrest to the best of your knowledge?
Yes, I'm pretty sure I do. Just through my probation officer. Not any new charges or anything. I missed a drop. And I haven't spoke to my PO since.
What has
But
been
that's-
your contact with your child in this review period?
Like I said, when I was working, and out of town, I didn't FaceTime or anything for about a month. And then I did get a hold of Brenda. I don't remember exactly what date it was. And I have been trying to regularly FaceTime, and ask and be there for his appointments that I can, obviously considering I'm here and he's up there. And I was also told that with my warrants that I cannot get my visitation with my son, or else I would have been there for visitation with my son. So that has been a big stopper. I did offer to Brenda that I could come in and do drug screenings through her. Obviously, I know I need to take care of my legal stuff. But I'm not unwilling to go through the drug examination and the psych eval and the counseling and the parenting classes and the medical classes that I need to take to be able to take care of my son. I am up to date with his doctors, his physical therapist, his occupational therapist, with all that stuff. I know what he's eating, how much he's eating. And if I could have been there for visits, I would have.
Ms. Johnson, we were in court on July 1st, I believe, and you had stated that you would be released the next day and you would get a hold of Ms. Burgess to discuss rehab and to inform her of other putative fathers' names. Did you ever do that?
I did talk to her briefly, and then the phone call got cut off. I did do the follow-up with I can't remember exactly who it was through, and they did put in something to where I could what's it, a referral for rehab. I don't feel like I need rehab. I don't have any drug charges. Drugs are not my problem. Like I said, I can piss clean. That's not a problem for me. I will do counseling and things like that. I don't feel rehab is necessary. It's just gonna push things out and keep me away for longer, you know?
Ms. Johnson, did in your CMH intake, did you tell them that you did want to do inpatient rehab?
No, that I didn't.
So you did not indicate that you had suicidal ideations, but no plan, that it was due to stress you were under from your son being taken out of your care and placed with your brother, and that you did not want to complete inpatient treatment due to your history of substance use disorder, multiple substances, and cravings?
No, I did not say that I felt that I needed that at all. No, I said I would be willing to hear what she thought about it, and that I would be willing to do counseling and outpatient classes or anything along those type of lines. But no, I never said that I feel like due to the stress of everything going on with my son that I feel like I need it. And I do not have suicidal thoughts ever. No.
And you stated that you didn't have any new charges, but the court report indicates that there's a warrant for retail fraud, third degree, with an offense date of July 18th. Are you unaware of that?
Yeah, I am unaware of that. I mean, I know I had, when I was in there the last time, that there was a retail on it, but it was not of July. I mean, I haven't finished my court hearings for that charge. So, I mean, that's the only thing I can think of.
Okay.
Because like I said, I haven't went back to court for that, after my appeal let me out.
Where are
And
you
that
currently
retail
living?
care of.
Ms. Johnson, where are you currently living?
I'm living with a friend right now.
The hearing explodes with contradictions once rehab and substance abuse discussions begin. The mother denies needing treatment, while records suggest prior admissions about substance struggles and emotional instability.
And have you given Ms. Burgess that information so she can see if the housing's appropriate for you and your child?
No, because this is not where I plan to keep or for my child to reside. I am working right now and trying, obviously, so working towards getting my own place. I don't know if that can happen within the next 3 months, but I mean, it's something besides living where I'm living right now is going to happen. My son will have a safe place to reside at, where she can come and do checks at. And I do have an application has been put in through Housing Help for other resources and funding help or any other, any other options. So I'm still waiting to hear back from that.
You said that you were working. Where are you working?
I detail cars. One of my friend of a friend, they own a car lot out past the head shed. And I detail cars a couple days a week, just depends.
Have you provided proof of employment or income to Ms. Burgess based on that employment?
No, I have not. I'm still waiting for pay stubs. That'll be obviously the next thing. I will get that done today.
I'm having trouble understanding your responses, Ms. Johnson. Could you repeat that one, please?
I said, no, I have not provided that.
That's much better. Thank you.
Okay. But I will I can get those for you guys today, or get them to Miss Burgess. And I can send you a copy of the housing and the MISTA, applications that I did put in.
Do you understand that part of your case service plan is to maintain contact with Ms. Burgess and to provide her the information required per your case service plan? Do you understand that?
Yes.
And have you done that?
I mean, I think the last time we talked was a little over a week ago, but I mean, she hasn't contacted me since, and I don't have anything new for her, but appointments and applications that I put in. I didn't know you guys wanted sure that I needed a copy or to tell her of every new appointment. I mean, obviously, once I completed something, I was gonna bring it to her attention, but I knew we had court coming up soon. I've been I've been on FaceTime at his doctor's appointments, his physical therapy, and I have FaceTimed. I'm not gonna say every night, but almost every night since I reached out to Miss Burgess. I'm sure you guys have all that on file. And like I said, if I could go see my son in person, I would.
Stated that you were gone for a month working.
Yes,
That-
working and out of town. Yes, I did go to Muskegon.
And do you have proof of income from that month that you were working and not communicating with anyone?
No, I didn't because I mean, it was under the table. It's not like it wasn't like a set in stone, this many hours for this much pay. I was helping a friend out. And so yes, there is income from that, but it was never stated that I needed to document every and any type of, or else I would have.
What is your plan as relates to addressing the outstanding warrant?
What was that?
What is your plan as it relates to addressing the outstanding warrant?
Obviously I'm going to take care of that. Because I'm not able to see my son until I do. I don't know what my PO is gonna do, so I've just been working, and I wanted to get through this meeting, so at least I had some type of an idea. Like even if I go do 2 or 3 months, because I think that's my max, it's like 93 days. Like I wanted to see what what happened here and what my PO's recommendation was gonna be to prepare myself. And then after all that was more set in stone, I was going, I will go turn myself in. But if I go do 3 months, like I wanted to know what is gonna happen. Like,
Okay. I have no further questions of this witness, Your Honor. Thank you.
Mr. Hunt?
Ms. Johnson, are you still requesting that your minor child not receive a COVID vaccination?
no, at this time, no, I don't want my son to get a COVID vaccine. I still feel like he's too young.
Okay. And is there anything else you want the court to know with regards to the case service plan and your participation in that?
The mother argues she attended appointments and FaceTimed regularly, but officials continue describing long gaps of no communication.
I'm going to participate more, and I will get more clarity from Brenda of exactly what she needs documented, and about how to move forward with rehabilitation and the inpatient rehab. Obviously I need to get more clarity with her on stuff like that, but I do want to participate. And if I gotta go sit down and do them 3 months, I will go do them. But I I want to be able to see my kid after, I'm not giving up on him. And I'm in a better position and I want in a better mind frame. I know what I want to do. I have a job. I'm getting some type of stability. But I do want to participate. I will participate.
Thank you.
Ms. Heiss?
Yes, have you ever been married?
No, I have not.
Never, okay. And then in July, we were here and you said that you would name the other men who could be a father. Today, you've named one person. Can you name any others so we can get all the tests done at once?
No, I don't. I don't really. I don't have. No, I don't. No, I don't have any more information.
Okay, Ms. Johnson, it's hard to hear you again. If you could maybe move that phone again.
Yeah, no, I do not have any more information.
Okay, you don't have names. There are no other potential.
Oh, no, there is no others.
So if Mr. Edwards comes back, not the father, you would have no other names?
No.
At one, go ahead.
No, that was all.
At one point, we talked about you getting services nearer to the child. Are you, when you say you put in a housing application, is that in Grand Rapids area or Lenawee area?
No, that is in the Lenawee area because as we had talked and I had asked, I wouldn't be able to get to see my son more, and I feel like it would be more of a stress and more weight on my shoulder to be in an area that I don't know anything about. I don't know a single person there. It's not like my brother and them would be of any help with that. I mean, obviously, if transportation might be a little easier, but I mean, I can make transportation. I can make it there twice a week to see my son. Obviously, if there was more, if I was going to get to see him more or anything like that, or I was going to get more bonding or parenting time with him, it'd be different. But I mean, I don't think it's, I wouldn't just say safe, but I don't think, I mean, a whole new area. I don't know. There's probably there's tons more of all the problems that I have here. There's more of that up there too. And so.
Do you have the contact information for your attorney in this case, or do you need it?
I do have it. No, I do have it. I have all my paperwork.
Okay. Thank you. I have nothing further, Your Honor.
Any redirect, Ms. Thomas?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, any recross questions for your client?
No, Your Honor. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for your testimony, Ms. Johnson. Anyone else you'd like us to hear from? Ms. Thomas?
Thank you, Your Honor. I'll ask Ms. Burgess to be sworn in.
All right, Ms. Burgess, come on up for witness stand.
You swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help me God.
I do.
Good morning, Ms. Burgess. You prepared this court report that's in front of the court today, correct?
Correct.
And are there any updates or modifications that need to be made to it?
Not that I can think of.
And at this time, do you believe that there would be a substantial risk of harm to the child's life, physical health, or mental well-being if the court were to place the child with the respondent mother at this time?
Yes.
And what would that risk of harm be?
It would be risk of harm would be medical neglect, domestic violence, substance abuse, criminal activity, homelessness, and financial instability.
And during this review period, have you offered, or the department offered Ms. Johnson any services to address those risks that you just mentioned?
Yes. So We discussed the CMH intake and inpatient treatment. And she did do the phone contact for that. But then after that, I had 2 phone conversations with her.
The foster placement receives huge praise from everyone involved. Relatives reportedly provide around-the-clock care while adjusting their entire lifestyle for the child's medical needs.
July 2nd and July 8th, and I was not able to reach her after that. But we also had set up a parenting time plan with a parent or a visitation coach and transportation.
Okay, so the last time you spoke with Miss Johnson was on July 8th, and then when did you speak with her next?
She had left a message on September 1st, and that was over Labor Day weekend, and I contacted her on, I believe we spoke on September 3rd.
And have you had any contact with her since then?
I'm sorry, I think it was September 4th that we spoke, and then I sent her an invite for an FTM. I sent that on September 5th, and she responded to that. The FTM was scheduled for September 12th, and she did not attend that.
You just mentioned that there was a parenting time plan with a visitation coach in place and transportation to be provided. Can you tell us a little bit more about that? When that was discussed with her, what the plan was, and what the outcome of that plan has been?
We had a family team meeting while she was incarcerated. So that was prior to her getting out July 2nd. And we had worked out 2 days a week. Our visitation coach, Linda Edwards, was going to transport her 1 day a week and meet the placement at a library. And then the other time, I believe it was Mondays and Thursdays, but anyway, the other time I had arranged for transportation through our community. I'm sorry, I can't think of her title, but someone in our office. And that was going to be through Lindley Transportation.
And what did Ms. Johnson need to do in order to exercise that parenting time plan?
Actually, it was all set up, just confirm. We just needed to confirm where she was going to be so that she could be picked up.
Did she ever do that?
No.
Generally, your court report indicates that she is non-compliant with her case service plan at this point in time. Is that an accurate assessment from your perspective?
Yes.
As relates to the child and the child's special needs, based on the information that you've provided, seems that this little guy needs very particularized care. Is that accurate?
Yes.
And to the best of your knowledge, has Ms. Johnson participated in any of the appointments that would instruct her how to appropriately care for this child?
I know that she made calls to the hospital. And I know that she has, to my knowledge, she was on the pulmonology appointment, which was September 19th. But I was told that was only for about 8 minutes, and she didn't stay for the entire time. That is the only appointment that I know of that she attended with a service provider.
You heard her testimony that she's been on all of the appointments, like physical therapy, speech therapy, occupational therapy. Do you know anything about that?
I don't. Placement has been very good about communicating when she's had contact. But I don't recall her attending any other appointments.
I will say I was not.
Okay,
I was not
Ms.
muted.
Johnson, it's Ms. Burgess's testimony now. We'll come back to you to give you an opportunity to respond in a little bit, okay?
Yep.
At this point in time, the child remains in a relative placement. Are there any concerns about that placement?
No, they're providing excellent care.
And based on Ms. Heist's report and your report, it seems that the relatives have also made some pretty life-altering decisions to ensure this child is taken care of. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Things spiral further once parenting time arrangements are discussed. Transportation had already been organized for the mother, meaning many visitation barriers were supposedly solved beforehand.
For priority of services that Ms. Johnson needs to engage in, where do you believe efforts should be made from her?
I think she needs to take care of her warrants. And I think that I think she's in need of inpatient treatment.
Regarding the substance abuse screens or the drug screens, it seems that they're just random with probation. Does she have a referral through this case as well, or are you just asking for her to comply with probation terms?
I was just asking her to comply with probation terms. There again, I haven't, after July 8th, I had no contact with her. And I did attempt to call her on any number that she had used, to contact the placement, and I didn't have any success.
In your report, you have a recommendation to reduce parenting time to weekly rather than twice weekly. Is that still your recommendation?
I'm sorry, I put weekly. The recommendation could still be twice weekly. That's what our policy says.
I'm sorry. I may have misread that or confused it with a different court report. So you're just asking for parenting time to remain per policy.
Correct.
And in order for Ms. Johnson to exercise parenting time, what is the confirmation cutoff for her?
I would need at least a week to arrange the transportation because of schedules, and it's quite a distance. So the week prior, but I would also need to know where she's going to be.
Would you also need like a day of confirmation?
Yes.
Is there anything else that you would like to report to the court today?
I do want to add that during the visits, the Zoom visits, they've been anywhere from like 3 to 6 minutes, 8 minutes long. And it sounds like there's been other people there, and that she's, showing the baby to other people, including possibly this Joshua Coleman, who she's had domestic violence issues with. So I guess I would request that she not have anyone else around when she's doing those visits.
Thank you for that. With that, Your Honor, I have no further questions of Ms. Burgess. We move to admit the court report. And if everyone is in receipt of the vaccine letter and policy that Ms. Burgess sent this morning, I would also ask the court to receive that.
I don't have those. Or the DNA results, so. I'd be happy
Your
to
Honor, did
receive
you-
them.
Your Honor, I did email the DNA results to the clerks. Just to ensure it could make it into, the court's electronic filing system. As far as the vaccines, I don't know that it's entirely necessarily to admit that into the record. I can just ask Ms. Burgess a couple of questions on that point.
Go ahead.
Thank you. Ms. Burgess, you've provided a letter or note from a doctor indicating that it is highly recommended the child receive vaccines against influenza, respiratory, I'm going to butcher all of this, the RSV virus and COVID-19. It indicates that it's due to him being born premature. He's vulnerable to infections. Have you had any further conversations with medical providers on that point?
I have not. I received the information through the caregivers. I did contact his PCP.
That instantly raises concerns about judgment, boundaries, and whether the mother truly understands the seriousness of the court's expectations.
There was a note in the file that they were going to provide a letter. And then this letter that I received, I believe we just got it yesterday, from the pulmonologist, and that is what I forwarded to you. And I did not send it to the board. So,
Okay, thank
so
you.
that is the only contact I've had.
The report indicates that the child was hospitalized for acute bronchiolitis and acute respiratory failure with hypoxia. He also tested positive for rhinovirus and enterovirus. Do you have any indication, or do you have any knowledge, just based on your contacts with the family or the medical providers, if those are respiratory infections and conditions, and if there's a heightened risk based on his prior hospitalization for being susceptible to the flu, RSV, and COVID?
I'm not sure quite how to answer that yet, but I would say yes, that he does have a chronic lung condition, and those were related, his hospitalizations.
Okay, thank you. I have no further questions.
Any questions, Mr. Mott?
Yes, Your Honor. Ms. Burgess, what is the department's policy on vaccinations when a parent objects to them?
So we are to engage the parents, but I mean, regular immunizations, caregivers can have those provided. But when it comes to, I mean, of course, we want to involve parents always.
So I believe Ms. Johnson didn't have any issues with the minor child being vaccinated with everything but the COVID vaccination, indicating she believes he's too young for it. What is your take on that being her position?
That's just what I understand, that she was just objecting to the COVID vaccination.
And is it the department's intention to follow her objection, or?
I mean, I would hope that she could have a conversation with his PCP, and, you know, make that decision after that.
Okay, and then after speaking with the PCP, would her decision be honored at that point, or?
I mean, I have no authority. But we're just bringing it to the court's attention today that that's what is recommended.
And then it seems like Ms. Johnson has a lot of hurdles to complete a portion of the case service plan, but you indicated inpatient treatment's gonna be her number one goal. You testified that she did do a follow-up. Do you know what rehab facility she did the follow-up with that was recommended through CMH?
She did not do a follow-up, to my knowledge. The report, because I hadn't spoke to her, but the report had said that she chose Home and New Vision, and they gave her the contact information for that treatment facility.
And then if she is able to be entered into some sort of program, she should just maintain contact with you.
Correct.
You don't have any, thank you.
The letter that you were referring to, the person who gave you the information recommending the COVID-19 vaccination is Josephine Tenbrink, is that right?
Yes.
And she's a certified nurse practitioner?
Yes.
And the letter was dated September 22nd, 2024?
Correct.
And then there is a policy, a way for parents to do a waiver of those immunizations for religious or philosophical reasons, is that correct?
Correct.
In this case, do you think the mother is updated and aware of the medical history for this child so that she can make a decision like this?
No.
Seems pretty complicated from the reports in your file, and you shared with me all the intubation that he's had and all the different medicines, and she's not aware of those documents, is she?
No.
Your recommendation is that mom be warned for termination. Can you tell me what that means?
Yeah, warning that her parental rights could be terminated in the next or subsequent hearings.
So just to be clear, mother is not getting a passing grade on her case service plan. Is that another way of saying the same thing?
Yes.
Medical testimony becomes the strongest argument of the entire hearing. Doctors warn the premature child faces elevated risks because of chronic lung complications and prior respiratory failure.
Thank you. I have nothing further.
Okay. Any redirect?
No, Your Honor.
Thank you for your testimony. Any other witnesses, Ms. Thomas?
No, Judge, not at this time. Thank you.
Ms. Dumont?
No witnesses, Your Honor.
No witnesses at this time. Thank you.
Comments and closing.
Thank you, Honor. We are really early on in this case, but I think that this child's critical medical condition really warrants some close exploration as to what is best for him moving forward. Ms. Johnson does not seem committed to this child's well-being. She has not kept in contact on a regular basis with Ms. Burgess. She seems unaware of what is required of her in her case service plan. I'm not sure if there's some credibility issues here as well with how often she's involved in the child's medical appointments or how often she is truly talking or speaking with the child. I think that the parenting time, we would like to ask that it, continue per policy, but with the conditions that there must be confirmation at least a week prior and then the day of, within at least 4 hours from the scheduled time, given that based on our last hearing, the meeting point would be at a library, I believe in Lansing. I think that was the halfway point for the relative caregivers and for Ms. Johnson. I do request, Your Honor, that our next hearing be a permanency planning hearing. A lot of the testimony we heard today was very similar to what we heard in July, and there's been no progress and nothing really for us to trust a mother to engage in services or do what she needs to do for her child. So with that, we're just asking for that 90-day review and permanency planning hearing. Thank you.
Ms. Dumont?
Your Honor, Ms. Johnson did testify that she is employed. Hopefully she does get those pay stubs to Ms. Burgess today. So there can be one part of the case service plan that she's somewhat completed. And hopefully within the 90-day review period, she can maybe get into inpatient if she realizes that that's what she wants to do. And maybe work on some other recommendations.
Ms. Sykes?
Thank you, Your Honor. I'm hoping that mother will be forthcoming with any possible putative fathers so that we can have them tested all at once instead of extending them over time. I think we've had this conversation before with her, but we're not asking who she thinks might be a good dad. We're asking who biologically could be connected to this child and asking her to disclose that within the next review period. Thank you.
Thank you. The court finds all interested parties were given notice for purposes of today's review hearing. It was our first regular review for Ms. Noelle Johnson. She has obviously had some challenges and developed some new challenges over the course of the last review period. Unfortunately, making return of her child to her care at this time too high risk. She needs to focus on finding a place to stay, stabilizing that and her employment, tackling her substance abuse challenges and abiding by her probation terms in order to start making a safe place for herself and for her child. So many of those reasons were visited more in depth by our guardian ad litem and of course our caseworker. Thank you, ladies, for your efforts on behalf of the child in the last review period.
Thank you.
The order will reflect satisfaction of those obligations. Thank you to our attorneys as well for your efforts. This is a case where I do think that it is appropriate to set our next review as also a permanency planning hearing. Ms. Johnson, part of my obligations as I see them is to tell you the truth, which is that we're going to need to really see your best efforts in the next report period. It's my job to make sure that your child has a safe, stable environment. And your child, especially as we heard about today, has some really next level challenges, making the need for permanency and stability paramount. And we've even had one of the foster care parents agree to stay home to take care of this child because his needs are just at that heightened level. So we're going to need to see some serious effort from you in the next report period. Otherwise, I will have to look at making where he is temporarily housed his permanent home moving forward. So you should be aware of that in the next report period. I won't reduce the parenting time options available to you. If it's safe, I will say to Ms. Burgess, yes, please extend Ms. Johnson some parenting time. But of course, we'll need to be mindful of any signs of intoxication or other dangerous issues that may arise as a result of allowing the in-person parenting time. Also, it will be parenting time that you'll need to exercise on your own without the accompaniment of Mr. Coleman or anyone else. And mindful also of the fact that that warrant is out there. We're hoping to see you take care of that relatively quickly so that that particular risk is alleviated sooner rather than later. But as for right now, the child in his relative placement is in the safest and least restrictive environment, and that will continue pending our next review and permanency planning hearing, which I've scheduled for December 10th, 2024, commencing at 11 a.m. Unless there's any questions, we'll see you December 10th at 11 a.m. Thank you.
Yeah. I do have a question.
1 second, I forgot to address the COVID vaccination issue. I would ask that Ms. Johnson be involved in a conversation, as Ms. Burgess suggested, with her primary care provider for the child. And I'll defer on that decision until our next report period. Your question, Ms. Johnson?
Okay, so my question, obviously warrants need to be taken care of and those will be taken care of. Soon, very, very soon. I'm not gonna give you an exact date, but, I'm gonna be in contact with my PO and see what her recommendation is, so we can all be, on the same page about timing. But, in the meantime, like, I know you guys said, visitation twice a week. Where does that stand? First off, my second question, about medical things, like, at first, his doctor had my phone number to make me aware of all of his upcoming appointments and stuff like that. Maddie and them, they have not given me my charts. I have not been made aware of appointments. I have to, every day that I call, I have to ask about upcoming appointments. So I don't think that that's fair, in my part, to be looked at as I'm neglecting it. I was also, COVID, if his doctor says that they think that he really absolutely needs to get it, like it would be in his best interest, like life or death.
Okay,
of
Ms.
course.
Johnson, I appreciate those updates, but I just simply asked if there were any questions. On the point of parenting time, you just need to contact Ms. Burgess to arrange that. That's been the same since the initial disposition date, so she's your point of contact. Are there any questions that you have for the court?
Sorry to bother
Any other
you.
ones? Well, that's okay. I just, all of the things that you're bringing up are great. Please communicate with Ms. Burgess so that she and you can stay on the same page and get some of those connections made for you, okay?
The judge realizes this is not a routine custody matter anymore. This child requires highly specialized, consistent care. The ending feels like a final courtroom warning. The judge openly tells the mother that the next review could decide permanent placement if real progress is not shown immediately. Stabilize housing, resolve warrants, address treatment, follow probation, or risk losing parental rights permanently.